Hi everybody, this is Spirelli. I'm just here with the Saga, which is a game that I recently played and I want to record. It's a fantastic fantasy tale, and I picked it up after watching some Viking related stuff and I wanted to have more. So there we go. The story in the Banner Saga changes based on the choices you make. You will occasionally switch between lead characters, witnessing the story unfold from different perspectives. So obviously I have seen the story before, so for some of the choices I know already what's bad. The gods are dead. In their wake, man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance. Thriving black destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped: the sun. I assume this takes place in some very northern country. And you're in an extremely long winter.
Að sjá dreggjana á ferli neðan vor. It has been several long months on the road. The first signs of snowfall accost us on our approach to Strand, largest of the trade cities on the Varl human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital. Several days ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds. We have been warned by stranded travelers about brigands on the path through Ridgehorn, our road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
So these are Varl, as you can see, compared to the other people that are there. These are giants.
Komið skjótt! Komið í höfnina miklu! Skýst ég leyfa oss að syngja!
These are giants, they live a very long time, especially compared to humans, and they have horns. And this is basically the battle. So this game consists of two parts. One is where you're traveling and then you have to make all kinds of decisions, and the other part is when you're fighting. You've arrived just in time. The chieftain in red and his men are now looking at a tougher fight than they bargained for. So I can look around, I can zoom, but it's fine. These portraits show the order of initiative, taking turns from left to right. Your allies are blue, the enemy in red. It's your turn to act. As you can see, there's always my turn, enemy turn, my turn, enemy turn. Movement happens before action. The swing shows your shield banger is active. The blue tiles show him where he can move. Some characters fill more tiles than others. The horned allies are a race of giants called Varl, who took up 4 tiles each, while humans fill a single tile. This can have a huge impact on your strategy. So I can choose a tile, I can move there. He'll explain this, I don't need to. Enemy tiles are red and pulse of the enemy is in range. To target a nearby enemy, use the left stick and I attack it. You can either attack the enemy's strength or break his armor. The number beneath each icon shows the damage you will do for that. So, just lock this in. Now you can see my actual strength and armor. So I have a strength of 9, and how it works is that the enemy has an armor of 4. So 9 minus 4, I can do 5 damage to him. So, strength counts as both health and damage. A loss of 2 strength means you'll now do 2 less damage. If strength falls to 0, the character falls in battle. Armor blocks strength damage, but can be reduced by a break attack. By breaking armor, you open them up to take more damage in the future. Because again, I have 9, so if you had less armor, I'd do even more damage. This enemy has only 5 strengths remaining, so strength attack would kill him, so you just want to do that. And that's that. He's down. Each time you make a kill, your renown grows, which is later used to improve your characters. So it's basically the currency. We also use it for getting more items or food. After taking an action, your turn ends. Next up is the enemy. Turns always alternate, even if you are outnumbered. Despite being at full strength, the chieftain will do little damage against your shieldbangers' high armor. So see that. He had 9, but since I have so much armor, you can only hit with 1. Now it's your warhorse's turn. He appears to be out of range of these enemies, but all characters can use willpower to boost their actions. Willpower is a limited resource, so use it wisely. You can see it in the left corner. It's I have 8 out of 8 on the yellow star. By moving on gold tiles, a unit can move further than usual at the cost of 1 willpower per tile, and it will also show you that. You see the yellow arrows, so I have 2 yellow arrows. So I want to go there, because I want to kill these. Standard attacks only affect a single enemy, but your warhawk has a special ability that gives him a unique advantage. So, when we do this, the ability description appears on the tooltips below. The warhawk's tempest allows him to slam multiple enemies at once. So I want to select an enemy, and then you see the next enemy is also selected. That makes quick work of the chieftain's bodyguard. When there's only 1 enemy left, players enter pillage mode. During pillage, each character moves in order, and there are no more guaranteed turns. So, before, no matter what the thing is, if we have 8 people and they have 2, it's still us, them, us, them, us, them, us, them. But if there's only 1 character left on either side, then that is lost. If a character does not move on his turn, he can rest to regain 1 willpower. So, and then what I need to do is attack him. I didn't read to you what was standing here because I already know, I'm sorry. So basically, you see the star here. This is the second phase we can use willpower. So willpower can be used to walk further, or it can be used for those special attacks, or it can be used to increase any standard attack that I want. So usually it'd be 8, but I say, okay, use 1 of your willpower and just kill him directly. A victory! So we get some renown for that.
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and Varl slaughter each other, even before the threats arose. All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more threats to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. A dozen families in the city would gladly take my chair. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade. Quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his lust. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight, and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
So usually, Varl don't really get into what humans do, because humans live such a short lifespan for them that it feels weird. You know, they're all of these are a couple hundred years old. You think is the oldest of them. So obviously, like, the small battles of the men don't really interest them. You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Eirik, Steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business. Ubin, isn't it? It is. The governor tells me you'll be giving us a hand. Seems a bit chaotic around here, Eirik. It's been worse. We got a lot of irons in the fire. What does it want exactly? Ska thinks that you didn't hack up in the Great Hall scattered after you took out the chief. The governor just wants to make sure they stay down. Was hoping you'd join me at the marketplace by the docks. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. So we're just gonna do that because he promised us a lot of money. So now we're basically in the city and we can select stuff to go there. So he asked us to come to the market and we'll go to the market. Let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-faced houses and eroded stalls. Colored canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular blanches as you approach. Ed, I'm not in the mood today. For what? Talking to an idiot? The Scarfing's chieftain bled out about an hour ago, Head. So when you tell me what red anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's going to try and kill you this time. I don't talk to me. Yeah, I'll let him handle it. He can handle it. Eirik overturns his flimsy table, scattering Hat's assortment of junk across the floor. Gods, Eirik, laying it on a bit heavy, don't you think? Where are the Scalfings? Nobleman up by East Wall, but that was a month ago, last I know. Hat skulks over the wave of Eirik's hand, gathering things from his hovel. Disappearing for a while until this spill's over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. Are we done here? Gunelf, were you wearing green back at the Great Hall? Nope, just bought them while you were walking around. Why? It looks so cool in that. You look like a frog. I'm not gonna say that. They look good. Look at them. I'm glad you care. I do care. I just love it. It's just, you know, we arrived to this town, we have to kill some humans because they're fighting again. And as a Varl, you're just so unbothered by it that you're just gonna go and like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna go shopping now. Eirik, that man of yours seemed unreliable at best. A blind dog wouldn't trust Had, but he used to be scoffing. If they're licking their wounds, they've probably gone to old haunts, not new ones. Nobleman's a meat hall? Best I can tell, the name's ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of these skull in the ground. I'm going to find him. I'll meet you there. Where is this place again? Nobleman is halfway up the hill towards the Great Hall. You won't miss it. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise. Double the usual tithe. I'll remind him. So let's just go there. You arrive in front of what must be a nobleman. A few minutes later, Eirik appears with a weather-beaten man introduced as Valgard. I'll point him out, Eirik says over his shoulder. Ready? Yep, let's get it over with. That's the spirit, says Valgard. Okay, here we go. Valgard boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Eirik is already at the head of a table, his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, Trunk and Scalfing scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and meat stains in the process. So, our first battle where they just leave us to do stuff. We can actually set these up in any way that we want. You know, like we could spread them out more, we could bring them closer together, we'll just do this. I was hoping for more of a fight than this. Look at them, it's gonna be butchery. It is. So, he has stone wall, which blocks extra damage, which like we don't really need. So he can just walk forward a bit. He can do stone wall. So he's blocked, like if they try to attack him, because now it's the enemy's turn. So, if you can see here, if you just walk here, nothing happens, but if we go here, we can actually attack them. I always like having the stats on, it's not the general one. I like seeing, you know, is there a point in hitting the armor first? So for example here, no, I can just increase this. And then next turn I can kill him. So I don't really need to hack the armor first. And also I can choose who I want to attack. And just like that, I have more renown. So as you can see here, he resisted a bunch of attacks because he has that nice stone wall going on. Yeah, man, let's just murder this dude. So Varl are, as you can see, much stronger than human. And what I need to look out for is that I don't block the way of the wall. So if I were here, then Gunoff is his name, I think. He couldn't move that way because I'd be blocking that way. And basically this is a very short battle, so I'm just using all my renown. I'll just increase all my attacks. So for example, he has lost some of his strength. Now, because his strength is even lower than the enemy's armor, all he can do is have a probability of attack. So I'll just use him to attack someone. Basically the good thing about attacking somebody is somebody's health is that their strength also goes down. So this is my first character that died, which means that he'll be wounded after. And that's about it. So this game celebrates you a lot for winning. I basically could have been more careful, made sure that he isn't injured. Like, I could have stepped away and it would have been totally fine. I was just kind of bashing at it because I'm greedy and I played the game already and I know this, you know, it's the second fight. There they are. Gods be damned. I've got to go wash off this blood. Eric is looking out the hall's window on the bay. Fleet of Longship approach with sails of blood, bold reds and blues. One banner I know well, Vognir. Next for Varl Kingship lost his book. The other flag looks important. Yeah, important guests. See what I deal with all day long? All things make a little more sense. You hoped I have to stake in saying everything's fine here when the royal guests arrive. Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favor? Sure. What is it? If you happen to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Maybe I will. Eric and Valgar hustle from the meat house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spare of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to greet the new arrivals down at the docks. And so in all of this, you could have also opted to not do that. We could have opted to not fight, and we could have opted to say like, nope, we're done here, I'm not going to do that. But denying that, I don't think opened up anything else. So rather than doing that, I wanted to have the full game experience. A familiar wall steps into the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version, tramping the halls of Grofheim, abandoned in purpose. Gods, Ubin, you look ancient. Comes of being old, and if there is Vogni, there must be Haka. Must there? Well, there he is. Still bleeding tribes from the poor and stupid old yokes. At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Jorunto demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from my running, in fact. And clad for it. Hakan motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering. Golden Wolf had emblazoned on red. The King of Man, or someone on his behalf. The King's realm. The King's son, Luden. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakan has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakan. Then you're going to Grofheim? I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince's delight to behold. Where's Margaret? Hakan have him find a place to put up the berries. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Margaret. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be long. The young prince of man ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world to sort of a boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. So yeah, like I said in the opening, their Varls and humans used to fight, but now they're buddies. I know, you have to keep the alliance going. Verness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Vognir's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakan, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. So let's do that. So this is the prince. He's a human. And this is Hakan. So if I butcher the names, I'm sorry, these are not familiar names to me. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for you. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes. You're with Vognir? I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. You're crossed by chance. Oh, tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? I hope to learn more about you. Just suck up to them, you know. It's like he's a friend. Oh, well, you seem to know who I am. Do you have what you need? So I do. I won't keep you. You leave wordlessly. It seemed clear that Luden was in no mood to talk. Or he's a miserable cur. Okay, sucking up to him doesn't work. Like, I don't know all the options. Again, I've played it once, so I know some of the options. I thought he'd be happy. Scrivener! You find Hakan in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees as many. Hakan waves you over. Went straight for a flagon? Vognir is the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to a governor's hall, anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlement that gives me trouble. No surprise, not this time. When I got to the Great Hall, it was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yox fired, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakan. Hakan let slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he's for cutting Sveth through treachery at Vognir's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the meat house becomes overbearing, and then step back into the cool air outside. I think that is all we can do. Yes, the Great Hall is the only thing we can select now. So, we just lost supplies, because supplies is what we need to travel. We'll be traveling a lot in this game, and you gain renown. That is the money to level, or to buy items, or to buy supplies. and every time you rest somewhere, you stay somewhere, or you move for a day, you lose them, because, you know, supplies, food, water and stuff. At dawn you're woken by a delivery of goods, at least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply letters. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. So there I got my money. Your guards take the treasure wagon down the gate. Bogny is already there. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Margaret steps forward. Bogny is quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks for you ready to depart. I think we should just stop here, because this is basically just the setup, the tutorial. You got to know what roles are, what the humans are. So we have the prince with us, who is supposed to keep the alliance going, and we'll be out on the road fighting and making choices. That's it. Following the storyline, making choices, and then fighting if we have to. And how we act with our choices impacts the fight, because, for example, if I make good decisions, I could have more money or more resources, or I could lose money or resources if I make bad decisions. And if I fight well, I also have more of those. But if I fight badly, then my units are wounded and I need to rest. So it's all tied together. And I think this is where we can stop for now and see you in the next part.